Assalamu alaikum viewers, I am Nadeem with a new Aspire tutorial today. In today's tutorial, we will learn how to import Urdu into Aspire. It's very easy. It's not a difficult task at all. It's just that as with any task, there are a few techniques involved. So today, God willing, I will try to show you in a very concise way how to import Urdu into Aspire. So viewers, the software you are currently seeing on the screen here is InPage. It's a very famous software and the best one for Urdu. You should also install InPage on your system, and as soon as you install and open this software, the display or environment that you see in front of you right now will appear here. You need to create a new file, select new file and choose any size, for example A4 size here. After setting the size, go to edit, then to preferences, and after that you'll find keyboard preferences here. Open it. And as you can see, I have already set the phonetic keyboard here. You will also find other keyboards here like the Mota type or some other options. So you need to select and set the phonetic keyboard from here, just like I have set this keyboard here. In our region, this is mostly the keyboard that is used. If you want to use any other keyboard besides this one, you can see that there are options available here. You can also adjust the keyboard yourself in this. So since I'm also practiced on this one, and mostly the one our market is using is also this keyboard. Let's start here and set up this keyboard. If you want to see the keyboard layout, this is the view of the phonetic keyboard where you can see which letter is on which key, and all the alphabets are present here. You can print it out and keep it with you or just try to understand it. So as I said, whatever content, text, sentences or names you want to write in InPage, you have to type everything here. Typing here is very simple. You just have to call a box here. See, I have called the box. Now whatever I want to write inside it, let's say I write my own name. Here I wrote Muhammad Farrukh Nadeem. Let's write company here, CAD cam. Now this size looks very small. Select it with Ctrl+S, and from here you can increase its size. See, I wrote 60. You can even make it 100. You can set whatever size you want. Here I wrote CAD cam gateway. Open it. And as you can see, I have already set the phonetic keyboard here. You will also find other keyboards here like the Mota type or some other options. So you need to select and set the phonetic keyboard from here, just like I have set this keyboard here. In our region, this is mostly the keyboard that is used. If you want to use, select this box with the IOP tool, and you can also move it outside. Now this CAD cam gateway that I wrote, if I need to edit it again, see, I can edit it from here, how I wrote gateway. So one thing is that we can set its spacing here. Select them, and here you can center align it. If you want to change its font, then whichever area you want to change the font for, or if you have some fonts installed, you can change those fonts as well. See, as soon as I apply a font here, you can use any font you like here. So actually this is a software for typing Urdu called InPage. It's very easy. You just have to select this box. I made the selection here with the help of this arrow. Select this box. In the file menu, you need to export the page here. As soon as you export the page, you have to select selected object, which is the object we have already selected that contains the text. After that, browse to where you want to save it. For example, here I am saving the file with the name 2 in documents. Once you have named it, you need to choose the extension, not bitmap, but you should select PostScript file. Select the PostScript file, set the file name and save it here, then click OK. Now in your documents, this EPS format file, which is supported by every software that handles graphics, can be opened in any such software. I have saved it as an EPS. Click OK, and that's its role is finished now. You don't need it anymore. Now we will come here to Aspire. After coming into Aspire, you need to create a new file. Suppose I want to write this text for a signboard, so I'll enter the size of the signboard here. Let's say I'm making a small signboard and I want to set it to 6 by 4 feet. So I'll set the width to 72 inches and the height to 48 inches. So the sheet we have, its dimensions are set here. You can set a datum plane, meaning these are the things that come up in almost every lecture, every tutorial. I've already explained them. Click OK. After clicking OK, now look at one thing here. At this moment, I've kept its datum at the center. Since the sheet size is large, it becomes a bit difficult to adjust the datum at the center, and it's also hard to set the machine's axis to 0 at that point. Now, go to job setup, dimension and origin, and here you can set this position, or you can set it to this position. Now here comes the next point. Its width is, I have set the width to 6 feet, whereas our machine's width is usually only up to 4 feet. But you don't need to worry about that at all first. Just complete the design. Your design will be oriented to the right. Later, we can rotate it, change the sheet, or do whatever needs to be done. But at least for the design stage, keep it in this direction. I have clicked OK. And after clicking OK, you need to go to the File menu. Inside the File menu, you will find Import. Then Import Vector. Keep in mind that normally it comes in as an EPS bitmap, but here you need to import it as a vector. Its shortcut key is Ctrl+I. As soon as you are in vector inside my documents, I created this file name 2. This was the one, right? It was an EPS PostScript file. I had saved it with the name 2. And look, the data that I wrote there is present here. You can see this on the screen. Okay. So let me scale it. Look, I grabbed it from one side and scaled it here. And the biggest benefit is that when you bring in a PostScript file, no matter what size you make it, it won't get distorted. Its smoothness, the beauty of this text, will remain exactly as it is. There will be absolutely no difference in its quality, in its pixel quality. So when I had this file, it was a small file, just a small piece of text. I enlarged it and made it 6 feet wide. Now look, each and every text element is available to me in vector form. I grouped this name by selecting it, and now I'll move it down here a little. In the same way, I selected Canadian Gateway, grouped it, and moved it up a little. You can add borders around it if you want. You can do anything you like outside of it. There's no problem at all. It works exactly the same way as when you draw with curves. See, if I ungroup it here and want to make a change to any one object, there's no problem. It's very easy. You just need to take the node tool, select any object. Look, if I zoom in on it, you can see all the curves in it. And this is the standard font that is used for our Urdu. You can import any design here. There's absolutely no problem of any kind. These curves and lines will easily appear here. Suppose I want to delete this point from here, no problem. The more effort you put into your work, the more time you can spend on it. For example, look here. If you want to change anything, you can easily change it. So here, look, I go to the selected area and zoom all, and now we have it in a completely ready form. If you want to do machining on this vector, convert it to 3D, or perform any inner or outer cutting, you can easily do it. Let's do a small experiment here. I want to convert this font into 3D. To convert it into 3D, since this is a font, we won't be adding any cross section inside it, but I'll simply emboss it, I'll lift it up into 3D. So let's do it step by step. First, I select this text or this name. You need to come to the modeling section here. In modeling, we have the shape tool available here, and I have selected it. Now, since we have a large canvas here, that is, the board is 6 feet by 14, so approximately, the name I have written inside it is now about 4 feet. That means if I go to its size here, if I look at its size, you can see that its height is almost 30 inches and its width is about 42 inches. So the size is quite large. Now, since we were talking about taking this into 3D here, I will use the shape tool in 3D. And first of all, I'm setting its base side to 0 for now so that you can see it once. I am setting its angle to 45 degrees, and then rounding it from the top. All right. There are actually two main ways to approach this. You can either round the top, giving it a smooth curve finish, or you can make it conical, which means shaping it into a cone. For now, I'll just view it in 3D with no limit applied, so you can see the effect more clearly. So look here, the text has already been written, right? Now, since at this stage, it just looks like a simple tube placed on top, and because we want to make it more visually appealing and attractive, I'll add a thickness of 0.25 right here. Apply it and see for yourself now, it looks much more beautiful, elegant, and stylish. I've given it a thickness of 0.25, as you can see. If you increase its angle just a bit, you'll notice it rises up like this, creating a more dynamic shape. If you decide to take it into a conical shape, then this is what happens to the model. In the conical shape, you'll need to keep its angle a bit lower so that its beauty and proportions aren't spoiled. See, this same text has now been converted into a 3D form. And if you want to make it look even better, you can reduce its angle here, and the shape will become a bit smoother and more refined. If you define its limit, if I set its height, let's say I set it to 0.75, since it's a larger size 0.75, then see it's increased the 3D effect a bit more on top. So in this way, we have converted this object into 3D. The second here, I'll apply this and close it. After that, here is this text. You can do this one the same way you converted the above text for convenience. So if you say that this text here, I mean, we are taking it into 3D in a different way. That is, I want to keep its top completely plain. How is that? Come to the straight view. Look here, from this point I set the height to 7.5 and apply it. All right, now in this I have only given its base height, and here for its shape profile I have made the top flat either. I set the shape height to flat. Or there's another way, you are familiar with it, but to give a minor degree here. Suppose I set it to 10 degrees here and remove the limit. Then a very slight effect appears. You can clearly see the difference between the text at the top and the bottom as you move into the straight effect. So in this way, we use the Urdu font here and gave it a subtle effect with this CD. All right, you can do the same thing in the V tool as well. This means what we just did in 3D, you can also reverse it if you want. Now, what will happen to reverse it? I am going to remove all these things from here. Like the components I just created, I am deleting them. When we go back to the drawing and then to the D view, you can see that text as X is written there. I removed that third effect from the chunk above. Not only that, but as you saw, when you played that third effect, I was the one who did that. Basically, importing Urdu text onto it and then applying the city effect to the Urdu text. So in our next exercise, what we'll be doing is saving this text from these sites or saving it from outside sources. That is, if you ever need to write this text on a signboard, how would you do it? In other words, how do you cut it out and place it on the signboard? How do you nest it? And how do we save the material? We won't be cutting out all this text from such a large sheet. Instead, how can we cut it out using the minimum amount of sheet? So stay tuned. You definitely subscribe to the channel, and our new video is coming to you. You're watching it, and Alhamdulillah, I'm receiving very good feedback from you all. A lot of people are reaching out, and many of the techniques I'm sharing with you today were also requested by fellow viewers like you who asked me to teach how to write in Urdu. How do you write Urdu in software? I have quite a few queries lined up in my queue. I try to gradually, in fact, you may have noticed that I've deviated from my usual track, but I'm making an effort to address people's queries more so that everyone benefits. It makes me happy when I receive your feedback, when you remember me with such kind words in the comments, and there are so many people who have learned from these tutorials and started working by the grace of God. They are supporting their households and earning a livelihood. Alhamdulillah, I feel happy when you all leave me good comments, remember me, and pray for me. I definitely seek your prayers, so please keep me in your prayers. God willing, in the next lecture, we will continue with the same Urdu text and do something more. Allah Hafiz.